Hey everybody, Josh here again. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we're in the garage again. I know the videos have not been there lately. We've been busy at work and had other things going on, so haven't had time to really work on anything lately. But today, guys, we're going to do a little work on the Jeep. It's had a nagging check engine light. Check engine light comes on, it's there a couple days. Sometimes it'll shut off, sometimes it won't. So I went and tested it, and I get a P0128. And all my research online points to that being a thermostat. Luckily, guys, it looks like the thermostat's on the top side of the engine block. It's not too hard to get at and things like that. But just to be sure, I do have the check engine light right now. So let's go. I'm going to grab my tester. We're going to go out and we're going to read that light and see what it is. All right, guys, so I got my code reader hooked up. I'm just going to turn it to the on position here and see what comes up here. We're going to read the codes, and looks like I got two codes here, guys. So sure enough, yep, there's that P0128 and yep, P0128. So that's my codes there, guys, that I'm getting. And again, everything I've read online so far, that points to maybe a sticky thermostat or possibly the sensor. But guys, I have never changed the thermostat in the Jeep. I've owned it since new, and it's got 183,900 miles on it. So start with the easy thing, change the thermostat, and go from there. So let's get under the hood, and let's get that thermostat swapped out. All right, guys, just before we get under the hood, one point of mention here is that I've got regular Mopar coolant. Guys, I never had to add much really anyway, so it's worth it just to buy it. And I do have, if you can see the part number here, and I'll put it on the screen too, but this is a factory or an OEM thermostat, guys. They are about twice the price of the ones you can get at AutoZone or Advanced Auto or Napa or something like that. But everything I read online is the plastic that's in the aftermarket ones doesn't last that long. So since the one that's in my Jeep now is 13 years old, I said it was worth it to spend the extra few dollars to get an OEM part as opposed to an aftermarket part. The complaints about the aftermarket part are they don't seal well, that sometimes this bleeder here leaks and things like that. So, you know, and 13 years of good service, I'm going to go with the OEM part. All right, let's get under the hood. All right, guys, so we're under the hood now of the Jeep here, and looking at everything here. The thermostat, guys, is right down here. It's hard to point it, guys, but basically right down there, that's my thermostat, right where my finger is now. So that's what's got to come out. But to get to that, guys, it's easier just to take this, the hose for the air filter and stuff, and maybe even this little piece here, take this stuff out of my way so I have a nice easy access to that hose. And really all that has to happen, guys, is on the back side of the thermostat, which you can kind of see right here, there's a hose. This hose here that runs down there has to come off. This spilled a couple drops of antifreeze, but I'll rinse that up and clean that up after. And you just take this, take the thermostat out, and then new thermostat hose back on, add whatever coolant we need, and then that bleeder screw helps us burp the system without having to do it the old-fashioned way of popping the cap and squeezing that off there. So I'm going to get to work on that, and then we'll see what it looks like. But first thing is get all this stuff out of the way. So guys, normally I just have two clamps, one here and one here on this side over here. Normally you would also have a couple bolts here, but the threads and stuff in the bottom, is the bolts that hold this here, broke on me, so I don't have those in anymore. So it's just a strap clamp here and a strap clamp here, and then this should come right out. So hopefully we can get this off and twist this out of the way here. Oh guys, one more thing here. You can see it on the back side here. There is a little bit of there's a sensor here, so we got to take that off too. So, and not forget to plug it in later. So, but now, guys, let me grab the camera. So now, guys, with that air hose out of the way, you can see I have much better access down here to the thermostat. So just got to get this clamp off, get the two bolts off, and then we can swap that out. So I'll squeeze this clamp off and get those off, and I'll give you a little look at it before I go ahead and put the new one in there. But like I said, guys, overall pretty simple job. Alright guys, so I'm going to bring you down here. We got the thermostat off, but if you notice guys, when I pulled it off, the gasket was left here. So it's very important that you get this gasket out of here too. And then when you put the new one on, obviously it has the new gasket and stuff in it. So just one point of thing, like whenever you take something off like this that has metal to metal surfaces or whatever, you're doing carburetors or sometimes like a head gasket or whatever, just want to make sure that whatever your new surface is, that you get this off and this is all cleaned up really nice for before you put the new parts on. It'll just reduce the amount of times you might have a leak or something like that. So guys, I don't know about you, but these clamps here that hold these hoses on, those spring clamps, they're like the bane of my resistance. And they're such a pain in my ass. So since I had the thermostat out and there's plenty of room here, what I did was I put the clamp and the hose back in place on the thermostat, and now I can just lower the thermostat right down in place like this, and then get it to line up with the bolt holes and bolt it in. So for me that was a little easier than trying to play with that clamp once it's down there and trying to get it back up over the hose and everything like that. So I'm going to get this lined up, I'm going to get the 2 bolts back in, and then we'll catch back up in a minute. Alright guys, so we got the new thermostats in there, everything's tightened up, got the hose back on, I added some coolant, then I opened up this little bleeder right here. I don't know if you can see, you guys are going to see, yeah, this little bleeder right here. You know, you let it run, let it get hot, and then a little bit of antifreeze will piss out of there, and then you just close it back up again. It's replacement for the old-fashioned when you used to have to squeeze the hose and burp your system, get the air out of it. So you just let the air bleed out there, and then we're good. So that's it guys, pretty easy to put a thermostat into a Jeep. I still got to put the air hose back on, connect the cables back up again, and then I'll grab my code reader and reset the check engine light, and we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed it doesn't come back again. But to be honest guys, it's a Jeep, right? If you don't have a check engine light, you're kind of missing out. Until the next one guys, stay safe.